let's not forget that heaven created all, including rock and roll. And this is how heaven rolls, is with rocks and rolls. Today, I'm here to share a story from my life of a man that I met in 1996 at my first little rent-a-home here in the country that we rented, Roy ACKLAND. That's me. Look how big I was there. Yeah, I was a heavy girl. 1996, right out of college. I drank a lot of beer and ate a lot of McDonald's. Roy ACKLAND had heard about, I had a pet iguana that I raised as from a baby, and I'm a short person, I'm a long story, and I continue to try to not be so long. So I'm just gonna read from these notes right now, a message that I just sent to the family of Roy ACKLAND, who I met in 1996 and had no further communications or connection with. It was my 15 minutes of fame on the local news channel. He had a series called Roy's Folks, Folks, where he would go around and interview unique and bizarre people in the community, and I happened to be one of them because I had a pet iguana who free-ranged in our home. It was like a cat. The other day I found this picture tucked away somewhere, and I found myself later that week at Walmart putting this frame into my cart. I'm going to frame this picture of Buddy. And then I came home and I was going through something else, a totally different area of my home, and I found the original sketch artwork done by a man named Bob the Builder, a family friend, who for my wedding took all these pictures of Buddy, my iguana, and then created this massive mural, a wooden mural. All the wood was from Colorado and out west, and he had everything written on the back of each piece of wood. It was the most beautiful, beautiful, it was like 50 pounds, this wooden mural that we lost during our move to Florida many years ago. Buddy, my iguana, comes up. I find this picture, and then like the next day I find another picture, totally separate person, not with Roy, this is with Bob the Builder. So Roy ACKLAND, Bob the Builder. And then I frame this picture. And then the following day, my husband comes home and says, "Did you see they have a tribute on TV for Roy ACKLAND?" And I said, "No." "What?" I said, I don't even have words. Could you just turn around?" And as he turned around on the counter, he saw this picture. I said, I can't even believe you're bringing up Roy ACKLAND to me right now. Like, Roy ACKLAND? What? This is where heaven wants to remind us all in life to be curious. And to, yes, seek those trinkets and treasures and breadcrumbs along the ways, to pick them up, to be curious, to be bewildered, to be in awe, in wonder. To not be stuck in our ways, to just continue seeking. Whoa, is that just a coincidence? These are all the ways the universe, over all of existence of life, creates such words like coincidence that we can somewhat relate to, and yet we don't even really relate to. Coincidence. Oh, chance happening? When you're someone like me, you do go a little bit deeper than the mere M-E-R-E coincidence. You want to seek further. Why is Roy ACKLAND coming up in my life right now? Roy, do you have something to say to Natalie? And it's usually not to me. Roy has something to say, and he does need Natalie to share it with someone in life that he loves. I further went on to Google Roy ACKLAND, and the first thing that popped up was, I can't remember right now at this point his date of death or birth. It was March. 22nd. And here we are, April 15th. And so this is what I've explained to people throughout the past many, many years of my life, that in life we live by time. Heaven is eternity, which is no time. And yet heaven understands that life relies on time, lives by time. And so very often we in life think that someone we love is going to come through on their birthday. Exactly. No. Sometimes from heaven will come through many days, even weeks in advance of that actual date of significance. Heaven creates these dates of significance for us in life so that we don't forget life that we loved and should continue always loving. Even when gone, not gone. Clearly, Roy ACKLAND is not gone. He's in another space and place, and I delight in what I shared. I don't even know. I just shared this now, so I haven't heard anything back yet. But I found also a Facebook page that was set up by his family. And the last post they had was in 2023. And it was saying, we're shutting down this page. We just can't keep up with, memoriam to Roy ACKLAND, this local, celebrity, a TV person. I don't know if they're even going to receive this message. And yet if Roy wants it to be received, it will be. And this is what I sent. I'm just going to read. I know I'm fast. If I'm not fat, heaven is fast. If I'm not fast, I'll never be. Nobody could sit here and listen forever. Unless you're in eternity. I sent this message. Okay, I don't even know how to begin, though I shall share when it began. I believe 1996. When Roy came to our little rented home at 126 Jordan Road in Ramsar, which is now a Wendy's restaurant being built there. The home is long gone that was once there. And yet it was then in 1996 when Roy came to do a segment on Buddy, my iguana. How she came to rest homes, assisted living facilities with me, juvenile detention centers, and group homes, and elsewhere as a means of sharing her unique being a lizard who was really loving and big and super cool. My own little 15 minutes of fame is, Okay, here's where it gets beautiful and bizarre and bewildering. I do talk to angels every day. And in all truth and honesty, I have for many years been at first unaware and unknowing of each year having someone deliver to me, even in unknowing ways. Roy died today. And there was a tribute for Roy today. Did you see that segment on Roy's, folks, from many years ago today? It was only yesterday, all the years and pieces of this puzzle, with me and a man I met once, named Roy ACKLAND, begin to show me a most beautiful further understanding of how real heaven is. I began to smile in absolute documented past 4 to 6 years in particular, each March or April. This is when Roy ACKLAND's name has presented in my normal day-to-day life. I just found last week the picture attached with this message, which has been lined up yet never framed until now. Next to my animals' cremation boxes and mementos. Bizarre? Yes. Yet no real thought. Out the picture came from the shelf and into my hand, and after Walmart trip where I found myself down an aisle of picture frames, there I placed a frame in my cart to frame this picture. Me and Roy and my pet iguana Buddy. My husband, who I've shared all my life of angels and heaven happenings with, returned home last night and said, "Did you see they had a tribute on Roy ACKLAND?" I couldn't even find words. I used my eyes of wow and wonder to direct my husband to turn around and see the framed picture of me and Roy and Buddy on the counter. The reasons don't matter. And there's no need for me to even seek such validation of how real heaven is. I want to share my smiles and story of how a man you love impacted my life in ways that somehow my being, can only describe as being absolutely divine. Roy, divine angel. Oh, I hope you do not stop this page, of which I only just yesterday found, which I also then was able to see how March is a moment of time, importance to Roy and family, because heaven has no time. I had began to learn many years ago angels will present days and even weeks before and even after such dates of significance. Roy loves still being a part of life and thanks you for carrying on such a tribute. I'm not a psychic or medium. Beyond yes, by definition I am. I share as referring myself to being a messenger of heaven. It's somewhat different than what life thinks of with psychics or mediums, as fame or fortune is not at all a part of my purpose in life. It's all about sharing with divine love. Dad loves you, and I have a feeling he loved Wendy's because that's what's being built right now at the house where he came to interview us back in 1996. The other bizarre part of this is that years after meeting Roy, I got married, and my parents had a dear friend named Bob the Builder create a most magnificent piece of woodwork of my iguana, which many, many years later got lost, never to be found during our move from North Carolina to Florida. And just the other day, I had also found the original sketching of Buddy that was the basis of the lost treasure. And so I smile and share that animals do play equal roles as angels from heaven. And my little long big girl iguana Buddy having me find 2 items of her life that ended more than 26 years ago. Wow. Whoa. Much love to the family of a man who not only touched my soul in my own unaware ways way back when and then. Much love to your dad for remaining in my soul all these years from what truly was a simple, of course, exciting moment. Love, Natalie. I think the reason my stories are so long is because I kind of am already, like, more so in that life of I don't rely on time in such ways, and yet I have to. When I get my nails done, that's a 10:30 appointment. My therapy, that's a 10 o'clock, doctor's appointments. I need to get groceries today. I have to live by time. And yet, angels know who angels are. And that's my show. I'm the Good Shepherd Natalie here on our small hobby farm. And today is a big day. I kind of right now I'm, also continuing to put more pieces of this puzzle together and realizing that Roy ACKLAND is also here as an angel to let me know that Natalie, we know you love your hen. Honky tonk? Yeah. Natalie, keep loving. And she'll be all right. Heaven will make sure of that.